I thought a lot of us Xbox fans were probably thinking the same way that I was, that we were finally through with this whole end of the tunnel thing for Xbox and Activision. We were going to finally see it get passed. Today was going to be the big day. The CMA was all trending in the right direction for, the positivity and things like that. And then all of a sudden we get hit this morning with this situation where it wasn't passed. And at this particular point, like, some of the excuses that they're using is kind of clear that it's not really about what they're claiming it is. They're claiming that it's all about the cloud, and they don't want Microsoft to get some kind of edge in the cloud market, which is like such a small part of the industry and doesn't really seem to grow. To be clear, as much as VR is a niche product, it's like 300 times more in the industry than cloud gaming, like in terms of adoption rate and money making. So, yeah, again, cloud is just a really piss poor excuse for them. According to this, the UK regulator has blocked Microsoft's Activision. After months of investigating, the regulator published its final report on the deal, and it said that it prevented it over concerns it would, quote, alter the future of the fast-growing cloud market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. Now, this decision is the most significant yet in Microsoft's battle to get the acquisition over the line, with UK regulators is seen as one of the most influential in deciding the deal's fate, alongside the EU and the US. Now, in the US itself, the Federal Trade Commission is suing Microsoft in a bid to block the deal over competition concerns, but the EU is still investigating. Microsoft has confirmed that it will, in fact, appeal the CMA's decision. The UK regulator wrote, "The CMA has prevented Microsoft's proposed purchase of Activision over concerns the deal would alter the future of fast-growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come." Now, Microsoft has a strong position in cloud gaming services, and the evidence available to the CMA showed that Microsoft would find it commercially beneficial to make Activision games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service. Microsoft already accounts for an estimated 60 to 70% of global cloud gaming services and has other important strengths in cloud gaming, from owning Xbox, the leading PC operating system, and global cloud computing infrastructure with Azure. The deal would reinforce Microsoft's advantage in the market by giving it control over important gaming content such as Call of Duty, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft. The evidence available to the CMA indicates that, absent the merger, Activision would start providing games via cloud platforms in the foreseeable future. The cloud allows UK gamers to avoid buying expensive gaming consoles and PCs and gives them much more flexibility and choices as to how they play. Now, allowing Microsoft to take such a strong position in the cloud gaming market just as it begins to grow rapidly would risk undermining the innovation that is crucial to the development of these opportunities. Now, according to this, Microsoft has said that it will appeal the CMA decision. The Competition Appeal Tribune site says straightforward cases are aimed to deal with within 9 months. If Microsoft wins, it gets returned to the CMA. Chances of this closing this year are now slim. That means we get the FTC case. In a statement, Microsoft's president Brad Smith said the company was disappointed by the CMA's decision and claimed that it would appeal. They said the following: "We remain fully committed to the acquisition and will appeal. The CMA's decision rejects a pragmatic path to address competition concerns and discourages technology innovation and investment in the United Kingdom. We have already signed contracts to make Activision Blizzard's popular games available to 150 million more devices, and we remain committed to reinforcing the agreements through regulatory remedies. We're especially disappointed that after lengthy deliberations, the decision appeals to kind of reflect a flawed understanding of the market and the way relevant cloud technology actually works." Now, Activision said it would work with Microsoft on an appeal and criticized the CMA for what it called a disservice to UK citizens. The CMA's report today is a major setback for UK's ambitions to be a tech hub, and we will work with Microsoft to reverse the appeal, he said. The report is also a disservice to UK citizens who face increasingly dire economic prospects and will need to reassess our growth strategy in the UK. Global innovators, large and small, will take note that despite all of its rhetoric, the UK is closed for business. In a separate statement, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick insisted Wednesday's decision was far from the final word on the deal. Initially, it had appeared that the UK regulator was moving forward in approving the deal before today's announcement. Now, while the CMA provisionally found in February that the merger could reduce competition and result in higher prices, fewer choices, or less innovation, It partially reversed its decision a month later. Then, after reviewing new evidence, the CMA said it no longer believed the deal would significantly reduce competition in the console gaming space, although it still has concerns about the acquisition's impact on the cloud gaming market. In its verdict that was actually published, the regulator said its final decision came after Microsoft's proposed solution failed to effectively address the concerns in the cloud gaming sector. Now, in a bid to address regulatory concerns earlier the year, Microsoft struck distribution deals with several services, including GeForce Now, Boosteroid, and Ubitus. So yeah, this is one of those things where you're just kind of looking at it and you're just shaking your head. Here's the thing: what this really kind of all comes down to, right? This has nothing to do with cloud gaming. Cloud gaming is a very, very small, segmented kind of part of gaming in general. So after kind of looking around, and this is exactly what it all comes down to: protecting the market leader, protecting Sony. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's exactly what it is. It's protecting Sony. And if you think about it, Microsoft is being disruptive to Sony. They're being disruptive to the whole industry. And, you know, Xbox Game Pass is disruptive. So you get people pushing back because they prefer things to stay the way that they are. They want Microsoft to compete on Sony's terms. Now think about this. Nintendo couldn't do that. They had to make a completely new console that really doesn't compete with PlayStation or Xbox. It's not what's considered a high-end console. They had to find niche products. The PS2 essentially ran off Sega from the console system, forced Nintendo to kind of do something completely different. The only other people that could really possibly have the money to compete with what Sony's doing is Microsoft, and now they're not even allowed to compete. This is why it's so stupid. You know, Sony is so big and so dominant that you got Nintendo and Microsoft literally scrambling to change the rules because Sony is impossible to compete with on a fair basis, which is really unfortunate, right? Like, and you might go, oh, well, why couldn't they compete, over the years? Well, listen, Sony already entrenched themselves from the very beginning. Yes, they had a good product, but it's like they had to go through and buy all these things, and they actively pay for third parties to keep games off of Xbox. It's literally ridiculous to think how this stuff is going about. And, for me personally, I just look at it and I go, this is such a shame because, Microsoft would have been able to really kind of step things up. They would have been able to compete with Google, with Apple, with all these companies. And, Microsoft's plan all along was to be successful without relying solely on a console outselling PlayStation, right? Because that's in the past, if your console didn't sell particularly amazing or as much as the competition, you basically got Sega'd. You kind of had to move on. And now it's like their whole idea was, well, maybe we can build things up and make it so that we can, make our money and do all these things without having to sell as many consoles as PlayStation, because PlayStation is too entrenched in most countries, right? Yes, Microsoft can put up a fight in the US and the UK, but outside of that, Sony is way too entrenched for anybody to really ever want to take a chance on anything else that isn't PlayStation. So, every turn there's some new kind of level of BS. It's like, what the point? What's the point? At some point you have to just go, do they give up? Do they move on? Like, what is the deal? What can they do at this point? And you might go, oh, well, man, CG sounds really sad and depressed. Well, this is sort of depressing because we've already put up a year of this where I feel like Microsoft has been extremely low-key, right? Like, they haven't been able to announce stuff. They've been kind of laying low. To me, it's just one of those things that I just kind of look at it and I go, it's probably because of the Activision deal. They're not doing as much advertising. They're not doing as much of anything as they used to, right? And now it's like you look at this and you go, well, now we might have to potentially put up with this for a whole nother year because there's no way that they're going to close this in this year, so it wouldn't be till next year. So you're going through 2 years of this stuff, and us Xbox fans have already been through the gamut. You know what I mean? We've already been through all this thing, the waiting game, all this stuff, and it's just like, I get it, man. The whole world hates Xbox. You guys win. right? Like, okay, it is what it is. I mean, what else can you do? They're going to appeal it, which is good, I guess. But at the end of the day, in the European area, an appeal isn't the same as it is here, like in the U.S. So, does it even stand a chance? You have to start the whole process over again. And clearly, these people don't understand how these businesses work. I mean, all you have to do is look at Stadia, failed, On Live, failed, Gaikai, failed, PS Now, failed, Amazon Luna, failed. It's not the future of gaming that people think it is. So this is pretty ridiculous, and I gotta say it's pretty disheartening. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, though. Are you disappointed? Let me know. Thanks for watching.